Princess Program. Book 1. Chapter 5, A Weekend Awakening. Chris stood in front of the mirror, studying his reflection. It was later in the year, and he had grown accustomed to his evolving appearance. He no longer needs a wig, as his shoulder-length hair, which he'd been carefully growing out, framed his face perfectly. His makeup, now applied with expert precision after months of practice, accentuated his delicate features. For the first time outside of school, he wasn't wearing his usual green and white uniform. Instead, he had chosen a white, fitted off-shoulder blouse with delicate lace trim and a short gray skirt that twirled slightly when he moved. A pair of white heels completed the look, adding a touch of elegance to his outfit. "You look adorable," Natalie said with a grin, tossing her long blonde hair over her shoulder. "Now let's go. The mall isn't going to wait forever." Chris felt a mix of excitement and nervousness as they walked into the bustling shopping center. This was the first time he'd ventured out dressed like this, and he couldn't help but feel self-conscious. But Natalie's confidence was infectious, and soon he began to relax, enjoying the lively atmosphere and bright displays. They wandered through stores, Natalie picking out clothes with the practiced ease of someone who lived for fashion. Chris, on the other hand, found himself drawn to softer, pastel-colored outfits, dresses and skirts that he never would have considered before joining the princess program. "Try this on," Natalie said, handing him a floral dress. "You'll look amazing." Chris took the dress, laughing softly. As he tried it on in the fitting room, Natalie waited outside, occasionally peeking through the curtain to offer advice. When Chris stepped out, the pink two-piece dress fit him perfectly, hugging his slim frame and accentuating his growing confidence. "Oh my God!" Natalie exclaimed, clapping her hands together. "You look stunning." Chris twirled, the hem of the dress fluttering gracefully. "I kind of love this," he admitted, his voice tinged with surprise. Over the next hour, Chris tried on more outfits Natalie selected, ranging from playful pastel skirts to elegant evening dresses. Each time, Natalie offered enthusiastic feedback, encouraging him to step further out of his comfort zone. Eventually, Chris emerged from the fitting room wearing a breathtaking winter prom dress Natalie had found. The emerald green gown shimmered faintly under the store's lights, its flowing fabric cascading gracefully to the floor. The fitted bodice and off-shoulder neckline highlighted Chris's delicate features and confident posture. Natalie gasped. "That's the one. You have to wear that to winter prom." Chris looked at himself in the mirror, hardly recognizing the elegant figure staring back. A smile spread across his face. "You think so?" "I know so," Natalie said, spinning him around. "You're going to steal the show." Chris felt a swell of pride and excitement. For the first time, he was starting to see himself the way Natalie always had, as someone capable of shining brightly in his own way. As they were leaving a boutique, they ran into a tall, athletic boy with messy dark hair and a charming smile. Natalie's face lit up when she saw him. "Jason! What are you doing here?" she exclaimed, giving him a quick hug. Jason's eyes sparkled with amusement as he replied, "Just grabbing some stuff for my sister." "You?" "Shopping with Chris," Natalie said, gesturing toward him. "Jason, this is Chris." "Chris Jason. He's a senior at St. Anne's." Chris felt his cheeks flush as he looked up at Jason. He was the most handsome boy Chris had ever seen. His warm hazel eyes, easygoing smile, and the confidence in his posture made Chris's heart race. For a moment, he forgot how to speak. "Nice to meet you, Chris," Jason said, his warm smile lingering as he looked at Chris. Chris felt a jolt of nervous energy. "Nice to meet you too," he replied, his voice soft and shy, unsure of how to handle the attention. Jason treated him like any other girl, and Chris found himself oddly flattered by it. Natalie raised an eyebrow at Chris's uncharacteristic shyness but didn't comment. Instead, she turned to Jason. "We were just about to grab something to eat. Join us." "Sure," Jason said, flashing another dazzling smile. At the cafe, Chris found himself sitting next to Jason, struggling to keep his composure. Jason's effortless charm was undeniable. When he spoke, he maintained eye contact, giving Chris his full attention, and he even pulled out a chair for him as he sat down. "You've got great taste," Jason said, gesturing to the smoothie Chris had picked. "Strawberry banana?" "My favorite." Chris's cheeks warmed. "Yes, I love it. It has a hint of yuzu." Jason grinned. "Good call. You got to love things that hide a pleasant surprise." Did he see through Chris's guise? Throughout their conversation, Jason's warmth and easygoing humor made Chris feel at ease. He asked thoughtful questions, listening intently as Chris spoke about the challenges of adapting to a new school without revealing he was a boy in the princess program. When Chris hesitated or stumbled over his words, Jason offered an encouraging smile that melted away his nerves. "I can tell Natalie's been a great mentor for you," Jason said at one point, his voice sincere. "She has a knack for bringing out the best in people." Chris looked down at his tray, feeling both flustered and elated. Every time Jason laughed or said something kind, Chris felt his chest flutter. It was a feeling he'd never experienced before, a realization that startled and excited him all at once. As they parted ways later that afternoon, Jason waved and promised to see them again soon. Chris watched him walk away, his heart pounding. "You okay?" Natalie asked, a knowing look in her eyes. Chris hesitated before nodding. "Yeah, he's really nice." Natalie grinned. "Nice, huh?" "That's one way to put it." Chris didn't respond, but as they made their way back to the dorm, he couldn't stop thinking about Jason, about how natural and kind he had been. For the first time, he began to understand something new about himself. Something that both terrified and thrilled him. Chris is unsure if Jason had seen through his appearance, and at that moment, Chris wasn't sure if he wanted him to.
Princess Program. Book 1. To be continued.